What is going on, everyone? We are set for a very exciting week in the stock market, and we have inflation data coming in hot tomorrow morning. Looking at the market today, I'll tell you, it reminds me a whole lot of the money printing days of 2020. We're seeing some stocks go so crazy, like ARM that popped up by 30% in a day. Bitcoin is back above the $50,000 level, and stocks are going crazy, so we have a lot to talk about today. Stick with us all the way to the end as we have some pretty good setups for tomorrow, and we have to talk about the inflation report. So definitely stick with us, but Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, that inflation report's going to be huge, so make sure you guys are sticking around for that. But looking at the market today, that was a huge move early on, and the SPY actually made new all-time highs. Can you believe it, Mike? We did it again. You go over to NVIDIA, it made a new all-time high too, shooting up to 745, which I thought it might even hit like 750 today with the way it was moving. But at the end of the day, a lot of stocks started turning over and actually ended up red, and the SPY even went red a little bit as well after that great move early on. I think people are getting a little bit freaked out by that inflation data, but one stock that was not freaked out is ARM. I mean, this stock was crazy, up 29% at close, well above 30% throughout the middle of the day. And man, it just continues its after earnings run, right? It's post earnings move, you could say. But Mike, there's just so much good news with this stock. They work with NVIDIA, or NVIDIA uses their infrastructure anyways, and there's a whole bunch of things that they do with chips. And man, it's just awesome to see a stock go up this much. And it seems like this was the stock that really captivated everything today. And even the SM bot was right on this one. There were so many fire plays.
Big time. So ARM options today increased by like 8,000%, which was just crazy. But looking at ARM going into tomorrow, Tom, we all know the stock is up quite a bit over the past week, and it's at a point where it's like it has a ton of momentum, but is it really worth buying at this point? Probably not. But that's all right because we can trade this stock in either direction. So Tom, going into tomorrow, what would you say are like the key levels to watch for this one in the event that it continues higher, or even in the event that the, I guess you could say the money printer turns off?
Yeah, so to the upside, it had a lot of consolidation around that 160 mark before it fell. It did actually break it slightly and ran up to like 163 or 164, but I'll say 160 is going to be the main level I look at overhead. Like if we could get above there with some good momentum tomorrow, I could see this one continuing. I actually love that move this morning because it actually broke above the high from last week, which was a really good move to the upside. But going into tomorrow, I don't really like the way it's chopping around into close. So if it does end up falling, there's a couple intraday supports I'm watching, specifically 140 even. If we could start to fall under there, I think that this stock could come and retest this low of day today around 133, and then actually go even lower, maybe back down to like 128 to 124, if that move starts to really catch on with some good momentum. But this stock is so overextended in the short term. And Mike, we talk about these setups all the time. We've seen stocks move like this on earnings a lot over the past few months. And, sometimes they end up coming back down with some pretty good velocity.
Exactly. So keep a close eye on this one going into tomorrow. But Tom, on another note, Bitcoin is actually at its highest level since December of 2021. It's back at that 50K mark. What is going on with this one, and what stocks do we have to watch out for?
Oh my gosh, it's at 50,000 now, Mike. I can't believe it. There's articles all over the place. It just continues to, I guess, run up here with the overall market. It seems like it's interesting because, before I would say Bitcoin had more of a mind of its own, but it seems like it's kind of running up like with the overall euphoria that's happening right now. And it's awesome to see that above 50,000. And I would say a big stock for tomorrow should be IBIT, which is the iShares Bitcoin ETF. It was up 5.56% today. And then we can also even look at the old Bitcoin stocks like Coinbase. It had a pretty good move, up 3.75%. And I saw Mara all over our bots today. It was up 14%. So with Bitcoin moving like this, like watch some of these mining stocks, watch Coinbase, and then of course we got to keep IBIT on the radar though. I think it's very tradable on the grand scheme of things. It moved 5.56%, but obviously like Mara's options might have I guess stolen the show.
Exactly. So good stuff there. And while the market is partying like it's 2020, something can change that pretty quickly, and that is the inflation report that will be released 1 hour before the market opens tomorrow morning. So pay attention tomorrow morning. Basically, the inflation rate is expected to come in around 3% or so, depending on which analyst you look at. And the previous inflation rate came in at 3.4%. So the main thing you need to know is if we see inflation higher than around 3 to 3.1%, that can be pretty bad for the market. At the same time, if the inflation rate comes in a lot lower, it would just make for a, it would ease some investors' concerns.
Yeah, it definitely would. And I think this is a very important data point. I know some people say that the Feds care more about, core PCE and other things like that. But I'll say this, whenever I see the inflation rate, the market always has a huge reaction, and so does the way that the market starts to price in whether the Feds are going to start their rate cuts in March or May or June or etc. So I really think this will be big for tomorrow. Hopefully inflation does not come in higher, or else that could be a pretty big miss, right? Especially considering that they're expecting it to get down around that 3% mark. So hopefully it does drop well, and it shows that inflation is starting to get back to those lower areas. But we always know it moves the market in a huge way, Mike, and you have to pay attention to yields, and TLT will probably end up moving quite a bit too.
Exactly. And another thing worth noting is that by many metrics, the stock market right now is more euphoric than it's been in quite a while, and nothing shows that better than the skew chart that we can see on the screen right now. Basically, the red line shows the NASDAQ, and the blue line represents skew. The main thing you need to know is that, for the most part, put options cost more than call options, because put options protect you in the event of a market crash, and people are scared of that. What's happening right now is call options are trading for about the same price as put options, which is very rare for the NASDAQ. The last time this happened was in like July or so of 2023, and then towards the end of 2021. As we can see in the chart, when that happened last time, the stock market ended up topping. That doesn't mean that this is the exact top, but in the past, when we've been in situations of such crazy euphoria like we are in now, it has made it harder for the market to rise. So going forward, there's a lot of euphoria right now. Take advantage of that while it's here, but at the same time, be prepared for an eventual pullback, because the stock market has been running in its strongest way since 1972, where out of the past 15 weeks, 14 of them were green. What we've seen in the stock market lately is historically bullish, and at some point there's going to be a pullback, so just be prepared for it. Any news can accelerate the move in both directions, you could say. And I'm looking at you, the inflation report.
For sure, right? 1 hour before the market opens tomorrow, be ready. It could change things a little bit. But, man, whenever I see this, Mike, it's definitely one of those things that gets you thinking, right? Every time that this has happened lately, of course, we've seen that pullback, and it doesn't mean that the market's going to crash, right? Kind of like you said, in July, August of last year, we had that pullback going into November, and it's, look at the skew here. The blue line ended up coming down quite a bit, and then the market kept running to highs. There's nothing wrong with, there might be a little pullback back to support, and then the market can keep going. But be ready, guys. It's a pretty big event tomorrow morning, and I found that chart to be extremely interesting, Mike, especially since its historical accuracy has been really good over the past couple of years.
No doubt about that. But, Tom, as we both know, we're still in earnings season, and a lot of growth stocks are scheduled to report for this week. For tomorrow, we have Shopify before open and Coca-Cola, so that'll be pretty interesting. And as the week goes on, there are a whole bunch of exciting companies.
Yeah, there's a ton on Wednesday. I mean, Kraft Heinz, I know that's not necessarily a fan favorite, but then Thursday we have DraftKings. I know people love that one, especially with the Super Bowl betting being at like record numbers. Let's see what DraftKings can come up with these earnings. Coinbase as well. Bitcoin's at 50K. Come on, Coinbase. Let's see if you can have a decent move here coming up. That stock got hit pretty hard in the short term whenever those Bitcoin ETFs came out. But yeah, these are the earnings. Go ahead and screenshot it if you guys want. But I think the main thing for tomorrow for me is definitely still the inflation data.
Beautiful. One thing I want to say really quickly is if you're new to the channel, demolish that subscribe button. If you do that, you'll see our videos recommended to you more often. We post all the time. We go over important earnings, economic events, important news, good setups. We cover it all. So join the Stocked Up crew, subscribe to the channel, and hear from us more often. But with that being said, Tom, let's get right into some setups and predictions for tomorrow. A stock I'm watching very closely is UVXY, and something scary happened with this one today. And basically, it popped up by 3%, and the VIX, like the actual VIX, the volatility index, popped up by 8%. And this happened on a day where the market was just barely red. It was down 0.4%, right? 0.04%. Like, that is barely red at all, yet the VIX is popping up. What this essentially means is market makers are saying, hey guys, just so you know, we're expecting things to get pretty crazy pretty soon. So that's why the VIX is popping up. People are expecting that volatility very soon. And in the past, when we've seen this happen, it got pretty nasty pretty quickly. So either way, I'm watching UVXY to the upside. If we continue to see, selling pressure or just, fear and just big movement, especially to the downside, this one can make a big run higher.
Yeah, it definitely can. I always like looking at the volatility index, Mike, and it seems like it's been kind of staircasing around down here. I would not be surprised tomorrow to see at least a continuation for at least a couple more days. So I really like that in the short term as well. With my first play, I'm looking at NIO. The China stocks actually had a pretty good day today. Can you believe it? I mean, wow, BABA started coming back up off support. I love to see that. NIO had a good move as well, and it's also moving off support. I talked about this one a little bit last week, and I'm going to keep watching it for a short-term recovery here over the next couple weeks, and even like I said, for tomorrow and the short term. So just keep watching this stock. If there's some good momentum around open, I'll look for more calls. Like, look at that run up today. Those first few, I guess, 5-minute candles were pretty damn fire.
Exactly, and we talked about these Chinese stocks in yesterday's video, so it's awesome to see them move like they did today. So that's awesome, and I am also watching Alibaba to the upside for tomorrow again. Basically, it had a pretty good day, and what's nice about the Chinese stocks is they basically do whatever they want. Like, a bunch of stocks, like in the U.S. market, move together. It's like when all the big tech stocks are moving up, they're all moving together, and then when they're falling, like they're all falling, where the Chinese stocks basically say, screw you guys, we're going to do whatever we want to do. And that's a good thing in market situations kind of like we're in, where it's like the market's so high, but it's not actually falling just yet. So I am watching BABA to the upside again for tomorrow.
Yeah, BABA's been doing really well off support. I'm not surprised, and it's starting to get some good volatility here. So, yeah, let's hope that money flowing in by the Chinese government really helps them out, right? But going into my next play, I'm looking at one that we normally don't talk about, Solar Edge. It was up 7% today. It had some good movement up. It has strong negative correlation to the SPY. So if the market does end up falling a little bit tomorrow on that inflation data or something, I'll look at Solar Edge to break $85 even. It's a nice whole dollar level. It double topped there today. So just go ahead and set an alert at 85. If it breaks out, then maybe look to have a little breakout trade going.
All right, sounds good. Well, those are some setups for tomorrow, so let's get right into the momentum plays. And with the first one, we have another solar stock, Tom, but it is Enphase to the upside.
Man, Enphase was all over the bots today, too. And again, almost a good double top right around 133. So if it can break that, then look at some calls.
Alrighty, with the next one, we have Microsoft, but to the downside.
Yeah, Microsoft had a rough day today, and in the short term, there's been pretty good support down here right around this 412 to 414 area. I would say to make it safe, if it can break under 412, then eye up some puts. If you want to get a little ballsy, though, you could look at a break under 414.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Tesla for both directions.
TSLA, pretty bad sell-off in the short term. Tesla's been really weak, I'd say, in the grand scheme of things lately. If they fall under 187, go ahead and eye up those puts tomorrow. It's sitting like right at the 188 support. If it ends up recovering back above 190, which was a good resistance intraday, then go ahead and eye up calls.
Perfect. So we have the upside level for calls, and we have the downside level for puts. That is for Tesla. Don't forget about the downside level with Microsoft, and then the upside level with Enphase. These momentum plays are plays for tomorrow only if they break the levels Tom listed. We are looking for a strong break through the level Tom listed, and then a continuation in that direction. If the stocks do not break, then find a new setup and don't feel the need to, force a setup that's not actually moving. Basically, on any given day, you just want to find out where the money's flowing and then jump aboard that train, at least in terms of like momentum day trading. But that is that. So let's get right into today's big money $1.8 million trade of the day. And we are looking at ticker symbol CRSP. So this is a biotechnology company, and stocks like this move a lot based off of like drug treatments and outlooks and FDA approvals and a bunch of good stuff like that. This stock is up 9% on the day. It's moving with a lot of good momentum. The big money bought some pretty deep in the money call options as they're at the 60 strike, and they expire with in about a month from now. So that tells me that the big money is looking for a move somewhat quickly. So overall, I think it's a pretty good setup. I think it's very interesting. I love how the stock's already moving with some great momentum, so I'll definitely keep a close eye on this one.
Dang, Mike, that daily chart is actually amazing on CRSP. There's been a lot of stocks running up recently and actually breaking out to new highs of the year. And looking at that high to the end of 2023, this stock is about to break it. So I would say it's very close to a breakout. We've been seeing a lot of these growth stocks breaking out lately, so I love to see the move here by CRSP. I'm not surprised that they're getting into calls here. There's just been so many stocks breaking these key levels, and at the same time, CRSP has been down in this area for a couple years now. So I'm glad it's finally breaking, and hey, let's keep this play on watch. It's a nice short-term one. It's one that we don't necessarily have to hold for 6 months or anything, and it's one of those more like momentum-filled big money plays, right? Like a lot of times with pharmaceutical stocks, it's almost like we're waiting, but with this one, it's actually kind of running right now.
Exactly. Yeah, great point. So keep a close eye on this one going forward. But Tom, we can't move on until we give a giant shout out to today's member of the day in the StockedUp Discord, which is Ryan. He said, after joining many, many Discords, I have to say this one is by far the best. And Ryan had a great day today, so awesome job, Ryan. Huge shout out to you. Keep up the great work. And the thing about Ryan is he showed up to the live event. He put in that extra work, and it's clearly paying off. So, kudos to you. Keep up the great work, and awesome job to everyone else who loaded up the Profits channel today, Tom. It was a field day.
Oh my gosh, yeah, great job, Ryan, and I can't believe it, 10,000% by Artie on these ARM calls. Like, guys, there were some insane plays posted up today. If you had any nice plays, post them up in the Profits channel. You might just get member of the day tomorrow, but shout out to you, Ryan. Keep putting in that hard work, and hey, hope to see you at the live event this Wednesday.
There we go. And then don't forget, everyone, 1 hour before the market opens tomorrow, the inflation data will be reported. So keep your eyes peeled. These events always move the markets quite a bit. Again, if you're new here, make sure to demolish that subscribe button to see our videos recommended to you more often. And besides that, let's have an amazing week in the market.